can't we go back to the Stone Ages where we were using flip phone? Did you have a favorite flip phone, like growing up?
I had...
Or the Razor? All the cool kids had the Razors in high school.
No, I had like the NV2.
That is.
It was like a LG like side one that like I think flipped like up. It was like with the QWERTY keyboard in the middle. What was the...
Was it this thing?
Yeah. That one was pretty tight. I did like that one.
Yeah, I had fat thumbs. I tried one of those. It was really hard to type on.
The one that I really did want kind of, but it was so big, was the one that like swiveled up that screen.
Oh, the flip. Yeah.
What is it called?
Oh, what was that? I had one of those.
Did you?
Yeah.
You like push down the right side and it goes.
Yeah, it was a little switchblade looking thing.
Yeah.
I lost that on a roller coaster at Cedar Point. I was trying to take a picture or video while I was on the roller coaster.
Oh my God.
And it went into the pond.
That's so funny.
And I lost it forever.
In Illinois, Six Flags Great America, there's a Superman roller coaster.
Right.
And you like start kind of like horizontal to the ground. And like, I remember just like, you could just look down like that first drop area. There was like a ground spot and there was just like phones and just like so much crap.
Everybody's just keys and
yeah.
If you could hop that fence, it'd be like a gold mine.
It would be.
Just take all of it. But yeah, dude, thanks for joining the podcast, Colin.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do a little intro bio for people who don't know you. You can tell me if it sucks or not. But Colin is known in the electronic bass scene as Big Nut Chuck, formerly part of the duo of Kyral and Banko. It was and Banko, right? Is that how you said it? Or was
X? You know, it was Kyral X Banko. It was Kyle and Banko. Right. We referred to it as Kyral X.
Okay.
Based off of like the Mayhem X Anti-Serum days.
You guys played a lot of dope festivals and had releases on Wakaan and stuff. But anyway, your new project's dope. Really loved your music. You're a Denver-based artist renowned for intricate sound design, evolving bass-driven soundscapes. You're also a classically trained musician on saxophone and clarinet, which you denied the clarinet earlier. You said you don't really play it anymore.
Played it from 1st to 5th grade.
Okay. That still counts, though. I mean, I played a recorder for like a year. It's pretty cool.
And like classically trained up to senior year of high school.
Okay.
Not like...
Go back to the roots, dude. Everybody loves a DJ with the sax. That is the thing, though. There's a lot of saxophone DJs now.
There's a handful, and I just never... It never made sense for me, and I just like... Even I played all through high school and stuff, and like marching band, never felt good enough to be like, oh, I could definitely include this.
Spoken as a true producer who doesn't think he's good enough. It's like that's all of us.
Saxophone is hard though. It's one of those things that you have to practice every day almost to like stay really good. People like you sew down and stuff. Like I'm very aware of how on top of it they stay because it's all like the muscles in your mouth, your embouchure.
Yeah.
And like without that, you sound like crap.
I think it's true about a lot of instruments. Like even for drumming, like I know if I go a week or two without practicing, like I can feel it. You just start to feel that like muscle weakness.
Yeah. I mean, producing is also the same way.
Yeah, we should talk about the beat-offs we've been having. We'll get to that in a second. Like I said, you had releases on labels like Wakaan, Moreflow Records, and now you're pursuing a solo career path as Big Nut Chuck, which I think is awesome branding because you have your chipmunk?
Squirrel.
This
is a squirrel brand, yeah.
Very
That's
different.
okay, though. I like rodents, so.
I had a pet squirrel for 2 years at my apartment in Indianapolis. His name was Henry.
The amount of times that I hear this is crazy how common it is, and that's cool. Like my dream.
Really?
But I'm not going to like go buy one. It just needs to like happen naturally.
Where would you buy a squirrel?
I mean, I don't know, Indiana maybe.
You could probably.
You can definitely buy them or potentially adopt. I could look into some adoption things, but we also have 2 cats.
Okay.
But
that might be hard with the cats. I feel like they might try to eat it.
It is like a lifelong dream to have a squirrel as a pet.
Yeah.
But everyone that has had that in their life came from like rescuing one in their yard or something along those lines, you know?
Yeah.
But it's crazy how common that is. I've heard it so many times throughout my life, and I'm always just like, so jealous.
Dude, squirrels are like really fascinating to me. They're like very fun and playful, but also kind of affectionate. Like I just started feeding mine nuts on like my back patio, and then he would just hang out in my living room after like a month.
That's
I
nice.
would just be working on music, and he would just be chilling next to my couch, and it was kind of crazy. Like, just a wild rodent.
Okay.
Just became like a homie.
Yeah, I need to start working on that in our backyard because we have a few squirrels. We actually have a 3-eared squirrel that has been showing up. Literally has 3 ears.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 3 ears.
Yeah, instead of like your third eye, it's your third ear.
That's amazing. He could probably help you with your mixes then.
Probably.
He'd be pretty smart. Yeah, fun facts about squirrels. They bury thousands of nuts each year and actually remember where they hide most of them. They have a special spatial memory and landmark ability. So not by scent, just by memory. And
That's crazy. That reminds me a lot of myself because I have very cluttered desks and stuff, but I have a really vivid memory of like where I keep things or like where I last left them.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good skill to have. I'm the opposite. I lose shit all the time.
I mean, I definitely do misplace things, but it's very interesting how I can also know exactly where something is in a pile of clutter.
Apparently, they also pretend to bury nuts and then scamper off with it in their mouth to be able to like throw off other squirrels from where it's being hidden.
That's amazing, actually.
Mischievous little guys. They can fly. Flying squirrels, we know about that. They glide using a membrane called the patagium.
Yeah.
Some of them can glide over 150 feet in one jump. That's huge.
I think that really has to do with how high they start, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
How big the tree is.
Yeah, I would assume they're like kind of going in a downward slope.
Oh, yeah.
And just
100%.
Don't really
Unless they catch a nice drift.
Yeah, if it's a windy day. Yeah, their teeth never stop growing. Their front teeth never stop growing, which is why they constantly are gnawing on stuff, even wires, sadly. Yeah, I heard about that. Actually, I had a friend by his house. He saw a squirrel explode on a power line because they're just chewing on it.
Damn.
Just saw it pop. That poor squirrel. Rest in peace. They have really good eyes. They have a huge wide field view because the eyes are very wide on their head.
Oh, you missed number 6, dude. Calling them little furry ninjas.
Yeah, they are little furry ninjas. Their tails help them steer like little acrobats. That makes sense. Kind of like fish, with their fins. In hot weather, squirrels lie flat on cool surfaces called splooting. That helps them cool off. My dog does that. He'll lay on his back with his feet up when he gets hot.
Yeah.
The air out. Squirrels are cool, man.
Sploot.
We could keep talking about squirrels the rest of the episode.
I need to name a song Splooting.
Splooting?
Yeah, let me just...
That would be a good... Yeah, that's a great name.
Very snoichy.
Snoich. We originally met at the Beat Off meetup that you and Import started.
Beating off with the boys.
With the boys, yeah. And we would... you guys started at a year ago or so, probably?
I mean, this particular group of people, probably 8 months ago.
Yeah. Because Rob, Homemade Spaceship, invited me to the first one.
Yeah.
A while ago.
But I've quite literally been beating off with my homies for 14 years, dude.
Yeah. It really brings people together.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. For people who don't know what we're talking about, basically, it's somebody shows up with a sample pack, and then everybody has, 90 minutes to make a track? Or less?
Yeah, it's in general, it is a producing exercise, a beat challenge, more or less. And usually we like to add the constraints, which generally are a sample pack or something. Honestly, when we used to do it back in the day, it was less a full sample pack and more all right, let's pick 5 kicks, 5 snares, 5 this, 5 that, and someone would curate it more or less for themselves. And then generally use no external sound generation plugins, just using your own effects. And it was super cool to see how people manipulate the same thing that you all have in different ways.
Yeah.
And just the time constraints. We used to do an hour usually. I feel like now all the time we're doing 90 minutes just because we have the time.
Yeah.
Any longer is a little too much, I think.
Yeah.
90 is cap. Otherwise you just have too much time.
Dude, it goes so fast though. And it's a great exercise because you're in a room with anywhere from 8 people to 15 people.
We've had some big groups.
And it's everybody's going to listen to what you made afterwards. So there's that pressure to kind of perform. under the gun,
Yeah.
which I think is like a great skill to have because it forces you to write quicker and to be like more present while you're creating because you know that everybody's going to listen to what you made, and it forces yourself to like really know or feel what is good in the moment and then work as quickly as you can, which is a good skill to have. At least for me, like when I'm in the flow state and I'm making something I really love, usually it's just me trying to get as much out of that creative burst that you get in the moment and get as much out of you as you can. And the faster you work, I think, especially in a software like Ableton Live, is like the more fun it is because you want quicker results, right? I mean, if you remember, I mean, I'm sure you felt the same when you first started producing. It's like you kind of felt like you're walking through mud. You know, you're like figuring stuff out and you have an idea and you're trying to figure out how to get that idea out really fast. And it can feel discouraging if it takes you more time to do that.
No, it's a super good learning process. Like it forces you to learn a workflow if you don't already have one, like a fast one. Just a way that you can open a project, get something done in 60 to 90 minutes and just either be happy with it or not and then move on. That's like the other better part is that like if nothing good happened in that 90 minutes, the time is up and you just never have to do anything with it again. But it helps because like otherwise sometimes you might just be sitting in the studio for 4 hours and also come up with nothing.
Yeah.
It's
or like the opposite. Have you released a track that came from a beat off?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Many.
That's dope too. I've released 2 tracks that came from a beat off.
Yeah. The last, that Boombastic remix that I put out on SoundCloud like a couple weeks ago, that was the first one that was like, came from a beat off. I pretty much did almost nothing after the fact, maybe like spent like another 90 minutes on it. That's 100% like the quickest and least amount of time I've ever spent on something and put out.
The one that had Shaggy sampled?
Yeah.
This one? Yeah.
I
love that.
If people are looking at this is a little hack that we discovered recently, but anything over 10 minutes, it recognizes as a mix. So it doesn't analyze the things in there.
Really?
Yeah, so that it's literally the same song just 3 times in a row, basically mixed into itself, and so that it didn't get flagged.
It's 10 minutes and 1 second. That's a long ass song.
If anyone from SoundCloud is listening, please don't take this down.
It's too late. Yeah, this is that's an interesting hack. I know some people on SoundCloud to get around that will literally just have like the first 30 seconds of something that doesn't have any kind of royalty flagged sample.
I've seen the opposite too, where there's a huge gap at the end, but I was like, when I see those, I don't want to click it because it looks super like unfinished or whatever. So that's why I just like mixed it into itself 3 times.
Clickbaity.
Yeah.
You got some people at the end that commented though. Some people listened to this song in a loop for a long time.
Oh yeah, Mark.
Yeah, Mark
worth the wait.
Shout out to Mark. Yeah, he did.
I mean, I think I'm pretty sure it also like randomly places them sometimes because I have like the hype edit like download gate, and so like when you put it in on that, I think it just like picks a spot.
Yeah.
I don't think those are always time stamped like properly.
Yeah, because like AI is getting really good, and Spotify's invested a lot into flagging certain songs and audio now. It's like, and I know I'm sure you maybe heard stuff that was like a ripped vocal or something on Spotify.
Oh yeah,
that's
so
like,
many times. Especially in like lo-fi beat music.
Yeah.
Like full Lil Wayne verses.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
it's crazy.
Those are the things that give me the confidence to do like this because I'm just like, for way too long did I care too much, and like it held me back from like doing so many things, releasing so many things. Like our management at the time was like very like, we don't want to work with you if you're using like uncleared samples. And I was like, I mean, it in a good way, it pushed us to do the things like Snoich and stuff, but also simultaneously, so many people have built careers off of those exact moments of like uncleared sample songs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like if you don't have that like infrastructure, like a team, like to be able to do that, then what are you supposed to do? Just not put anything out or only do original? Like you can, but like then you see all the people who made entire long careers out of like a song that blew up, Bauer, like stuff like that. And like It's almost like any all press is good press or something. It's like, even if it came out like that, then you're at least getting your name out there more.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm not saying you should steal people's things, but like, this is so different in the electronic world because none of us are making money off this.
A lot of us
like,
aren't. Yeah.
No, not at all. This isn't monetized. This has 2,000 plays. Like,
Yeah.
And even if it did get better and someone came, like, great. Yes, I will give you some of that money if I actually make anything off of it. But that's like, that doesn't happen.
I'm of a similar mindset when it comes just to releasing song for like funsies. It's just like for your own enjoyment. And like, it's not like you're having this song prepped for a Netflix commercial or something, where there's like more at stake. And it's and if it gets taken down, I'm like ask permission, or don't ask permission, ask forgiveness later kind of thing. Because if it gets taken down, like you said, you still probably got maybe some followers out of it or something.
And this is like SoundCloud, I didn't like upload it to Spotify and like tag Shaggy as an artist.
That makes a difference too.
Obviously that wouldn't have been approved.
That would not go well. That wouldn't go well at all.
But like, I feel like that's the point of SoundCloud still.
Yeah.
Even though they've gotten better at taking things down and stuff.
They went through a significant amount of lawsuits the last couple of years because of that.
Yeah. Thank God they changed the 3 strikes thing too.
Yes.
That was intimidating.
For sure. Well, I think they kind of had to though, because like there was a lot of lawsuit pileups.
Probably based on their own songs, because that happened to us. Like when someone like a label would whitelist the track that you made, like, and then you would upload your own track, and it would get flagged. And you're like, dude, this is, how have you guys not connected like the whitelist to like our account or something?
Yeah,
I have like nothing monetized almost, because most releases in the past, like other people released, like the label or a collective or something. It's actually kind of crazy how much of my music I don't see anything from ever, because it's just like not connected.
That's a thing too.
And I don't have the team to chase it down or anything.
It can be a lot, man. Do you use any kind of publisher, like public rights, publishing rights organizations like BMI or ASCAP or
ASCAP? Yeah. But like, I've never like, what is it called? Like, put any songs up on there. As far as, I've never like spent the time to do that. I actually have this guy from the UK that hit us up to do that with our catalog finally, which is nice. And he's going to do that.
Nice. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Big shout out. Cause like most of us are just too lazy.
That's true. Or people are just ignorant.
I don't want to say necessarily lazy. It's just like, is that time well spent even?
It can be though, if you hit a song. I've heard stories on this podcast of people who never expected it and it just happened. Or, some song gets picked up for a commercial or somebody wants to license it for whatever. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, they could have gotten that check and then never got it.
Damn.
Like Sound Exchange is another good one too, which is like, I now always do BMI, but I also have Sound Exchange. And there's like mechanical royalties and there's like PROs and different types of licensing. But with BMI or ASCAP, those are your performance royalties. So that's for like radio, TV, streaming services. But Sound Exchange collects digital performance royalties, such as like session musicians, copyright owners, like digital radio, like Sirius XM. I think it's good to be able to cover all of your ducks in a row just in case. I did a quick average stream per payout for all the major music streaming platforms. It might be interesting just to read these. Average pay per stream, Napster's
a streaming platform
Napster is the highest payout right now.
But small user base.
Yeah, super small.
I didn't even know they had a streaming.
It's 1.9 cents per stream on average.
No. Point.
Yeah, because it'd be 1 cent.
Dollar.
1.9 cents.
1.9 cent, yeah.
Tidal would be 1.2 cents.
I've heard Tidal's good, yeah.
Apple Music is 0.7 cents. Is that no? 0.7 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Music is 0.4 cents per stream. Spotify is ranging between, it looks like 0.3 cents to 0.5. YouTube is 0.2. Deezer is...
Where's SoundCloud?
0.64. Pandora is 0.1. YouTube is 0.07. which is crazy because YouTube is the biggest music streaming platform.
That says just standard video revenue, though.
Oh, you're right. That is standard video. SoundCloud is 0.25 to 0.4. I think it does range based on the country of who's streaming and if they are a like premium subscriber or whatever. So if they have the if they subscribe for a higher plan, like Spotify Premium or SoundCloud, whatever it's called. Premium,
oh, interesting. Yeah.
Then the actually payout is higher.
That's why there's a range.
Yeah, so there is a range with that too, and where they live, the country. But if you get earnings per 1 million streams, if you get somehow 1 million streams on your track, Napster's $19,000, Tidal's $12,000, Apple Music is $7,000, Spotify is between $3,000 to $5,000, and YouTube Music's $2,000. YouTube video is about $740, and this is all estimated. That's crazy.
Moral of the story: let's all download Napster.
Yeah, maybe we should all go back to Napster, dude.
Can you still rip illegal songs off it too?
That's crazy because that means Napster is about $14,000 more per million streams than Spotify.
That is crazy, but I mean,
that's on average, and this is estimated for 1 million streams.
Yeah.
Damn.
Interesting.
That is really interesting.
Looking at some Napster streaming.
Yeah, everybody listening now, let's just move to Napster. The experience might not be as good in the app, but that's crazy Napster's still around.
Yeah, that's funny. Same price too. It was like Spotify, $11 a month.
Is it? Okay.
That's funny. The website looks like Pandora did. Yeah, anyways, so I've just been incredibly not good at keeping up with like the financial gains of things. No one should follow that example, but I'm just being fully honest. Like it's hard to care when it's so little and it takes so much effort to like track down. Like working with so many labels, there's only a few labels that have ever consistently sent money where it has been due.
That seems to be a common story with a lot of labels.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like, if you don't have a management team, which like we did, but they weren't even doing that. They weren't like chasing that down. And like as the artist, you don't want to do that either because then it's kind of like leaving a bad taste in their mouth because you're like, hey, where's my money? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like, yeah, that's like why you want management is to separate the whole not coming off as aggressive about things like money. Yeah. That is like the hardest thing to negotiate for yourself or to like figure out.
It can be for sure.
Yeah. And then like people don't want to work with you if you're like being that way about very small amounts of money.
I was given some pretty good advice back in the day by actually Odeza's tour manager.
Fake email.
Shout out Ethan Oxman. But he was talking about, I asked him advice about this. I was like, if I'm looking for a manager, where should I look? Like, what are qualities I should look for? And his advice was like, just get to the point of where you have such a strong brand and you've been grinding and you're doing all the things with promotion and social media and being consistent with your releases and working on your brand specifically. And then eventually the right manager is going to find you.
Oh, 100%.
Because a lot of people are like, I just want a manager. And then they have their friend who like works at McDonald's or something. And he's like, yeah, he's my homie. He's going to do all my management and send all the emails. And you want somebody who has experience in the industry and can advocate for you for that dollar and for the money. And
they don't even
is invested personally because they
honestly, they don't need the experience. They just need the drive. Like if they want to do it, go with it because that in itself is exactly what is tough to work with. If you're asking things of someone else, that doesn't want to do it and you're just be like, please do this. Yeah. Then that's just like the wrong person. Right. Like if anyone that was going out of their way to be like, hey, I want to do this for you, that is the right person more or less. Yeah.
Definitely helps if they have experience in the music industry too.
It would help, but a lot of people, a lot of big artists started with someone just like that out of like exactly that. They saw where their career was going. They found the opportunity. They were the person to like be like, hey, I would love to do this for you and started doing it. That is like the big thing about that question is just that like you don't want to force someone to work for you. You want someone to work with you that wants to do that job.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like it. Yeah.
Totally. 100% too. They're going to work harder and most likely are going to have a better relationship because they're really interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And like want to be there.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I actually really love like your music and stuff, and I don't know why I sounded surprised. I was like, surprisingly, I like you. No, your music's dope, and you're really good with sound design. I feel like there's some things I could definitely learn from you in the sound design world as well. I mean, you obviously are in like the bass music, experimental music kind of vibe. What is like your typical approach to sound design when you're working on a project? And I know that's a really open-ended question, but you can answer that however you want.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward for me though. Also, it's like the typical way that I ended up doing things like the Kyral Banko brand came from doing like mud pies and stuff. That was all kind of like something that I learned from like Mr. Bill podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically taking time to spend like 10, 20, 30, 100 minutes in a day making just bass sounds based from like operator racks, serum things, creating your own basses from scratch and then resampling them through many different plugins and stuff, and then using those to piece together like the sounds. And that in itself is what started to create like a sound for like the Kyral Banko brand and stuff like that, was that like we were using our sounds that we made, resampling those, and that was like huge into like identifying what we sounded like, and then using things like simpler racks to manipulate it, or just doing it all through audio, and also saving all of the mud pies that you create into a folder in order to reuse in the future. So like really trying to stay away from sample packs and stuff in order to, although these synths can make the same kind of sounds, it's just like those little iterations that might be different, those little tiny happy accidents that happen from like you resampling it into effect racks or something are really what like make the sound design great. Rather than just like nowadays sounding like shadow samples or something.
A lot of that.
Yeah, so it's really just, it was spending the time to do it. Because it is tough to want to do that when you're like, oh, I want to make a song. And then you're like, oh, like, what am I going to use? And then if you don't have anything to grab from that's yours, it's so easy to just like go to sample things. But then you run the risk of sounding like other people, which isn't always bad. But if you're like trying to figure out how to make your own sound, it starts from making your own samples and your own mud pies and stuff.
If you're like me and you're working on a bunch of projects, whether it's music or podcasting or work related, and you drink tons of coffee to get through the morning or the day, and then you crash and you feel like garbage, then you understand the struggle, which is why I'm in love with Magic Mind. Since they sent me some free samples a couple years ago, they have this new natural time-released caffeine, and basically instead of that typical spike that you get, their caffeine is time-released, so it gives you steady energy all day without that bad crash. It gives you your full daily dose of vitamin B, C, and D. It also has nootropics like L-theanine, improves your attention, gives you a better memory. They have some new blends that I really love. They have their original, which is the golden yellow kind. They have the calming free blue and green label. And then they have the strong one, Max. For me, I love all three, depending on what vibe I'm going for that day. I have friends who are really sensitive to caffeine, and they love the free version. When I'm grinding on a project in the studio, need to knock out some stuff, I go with the original or the Max to help me get through the day. If you're like me and you are busy and you demand natural energy, definitely give it a try. Right now, Magic Mind is offering 60% off your first subscription, which is a killer deal. Just go to magicmind.com/AbletonPodcast60 or check out the link in the show notes and use the code AbletonPodcast60. Use that code, get 60% off your first subscription. All the guests that I've shared this with on the podcast love it. Always looking forward to the next shipment that Magic Mind sends me. You have nothing to lose. Check it out. Take advantage of this deal, and I know that you're going to love it too.
Yeah, so we would like take operator, serum, macro map a bunch of the knobs and stuff, and then just like pick a note, run it on MIDI for literally sometimes like an hour. And then just like plug in like Ableton Push or something, because that was like the easiest like plug and play with the knobs specifically. Like you get 8 knobs right there. Map them to the things you want, like amount, LFO rate, some distortion, changing the wavetable, and then you just like run with it, and then you have, you know, your own sounds right there. And then if it's not enough, you just take that, put on something like Portal, Fracture, Glitch, anything anything that is effect based, and then let that play for 20 minutes and then just randomly move things around. Once you take that, generally we would put it into like a MIDI rack and then start with something basic like quarter notes. So like quarter notes in whatever root key it is, writing it into MIDI, having that simpler play those notes, and then you change like the start point of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like different chains basically, and you're just like switching chains between the sounds.
So do you want me to pull this up?
Yeah, pull
on
it
the
up
video
if you want
thing?
to, man. Go for it.
Yeah.
You can see it on the screen right now if anybody's listening.
Yeah, this is actually a good. So basically, I just have like, I think quarter notes right here. This start point right here is like what I'm talking about. It is the starting point in Simpler. You can just macro that to the knob.
Got it.
And so when you pull in something that's like a mud pie, something like this, when you are changing this, it's changing like just where it's starting in the thing.
Nice.
So basically in like a given sample or rack or pattern, I would basically, this is generally how I do a lot of the sound design. Start with something basic, you start easy, and then you can always make it more complex. It's better to start with just like basic quarter notes or something and then go off of what's coming out. But then I would automate the start mode on like each note and move it around just like this, like literally randomly clicking. And then you can duplicate and you can drag all of them like a tiny bit or whatever you want, and like nowadays you can use the those corner tabs with the automation,
Yeah.
You can really just get a bunch of random things and see. Yeah, so you got a bunch of stuff going on, and then you just dial it in like a nutshell of the sound design. Though it is very like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'm huge into randomization and picking like what I think sounds good. Yeah. I always like before producing, when I was like DJing prior, it was just like the faith I had in myself was that I thought I had a good taste palette, right, for like sound and music. And so like
I think everybody thinks that about themselves.
That's very possible. Yeah. But,
I have good taste.
But I know some people that like are oozing like song ideas, and like that's not me at all. I don't just like have all these ideas in my head with like melodies and like whatever.
Got it. Yeah.
I know some people like that though, and that's like not that is not how I write music. Yeah. That's how a lot of other people do. It is like they have like the fire in their eye and they're like, oh God, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm more like, all right, I got to sit down and figure out how to make something cool. So it's more just like the randomization thing. I think it was like a Noisia documentary that I was like listening to that was a great descriptor of like my theory, which is a lot of our theory, but it's just like producing in this fashion especially is more a series of saying no than anything. It's like you're just trying a bunch of things and you're saying like no until you finally find that one yes. Yeah. And that's like the process. Yeah. Especially with like this kind of sound design. It's like frequently you're going to be making a bunch of stuff that you don't like, that doesn't sound good, and then there will be that one thing that you're like, yes, like this works. This happy accident is like what I've been looking for. Yeah. So yeah, randomization is like hugely my process, more so than like grabbing samples and stuff like that, because I want to have the aspect of like originality. For sure. I mean, like I used Smooth Automator to make mud pies as well, that Max for Live device. Have you ever played with that? You can go between macro variations, which is kind of nice. So you can set up kind
kind of like what you did. Maybe you have like a simpler, but you have a bunch of default positions or like a bunch of different like plugins in a chain that have like certain effects or whatever. But then Smooth Automator can make it morph between variations. So like for example, if you want to pull it up, if you go to like your macro variations on the rack, yeah, there's the macro, those little snapshot things. Yeah, so if you create, you can create multiple variations of the position of your macro knobs.
Right, like the presets.
Yeah, so if you hit new like a couple times, then you can create multiple variations. But
right.
Smooth Automate, so you can have one variation where like I really like the position of all these macros or effects in that rack.
Mm-hmm.
And then the variation can be like, it basically, because if you hit variation 1 or variation 2, it snaps the position of those knobs right away.
It automates from the one to the next.
It automates from one to the next. So it smoothly moves the macros. So you can get really crazy sounds by doing mud pies that way.
Yeah, that's actually, that would be a great way to do it too, because then you could like have all those variations just click around and it's like constantly doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a great way to record out.
It's a Max for Live device called Smooth Automator. It's really sick.
Yeah, I really do love writing this way in the MIDI with the mud pies though, because when you put all the work in and you start making like full lines of say like melodies or something like that, and you make automations, you make I'm literally just moving stuff around, but when you like do these things and then say, you have like some filter frequency stuff, basically just drawing in other automation to duplicate and whatnot. Yeah, once you have that going, the coolest part about it is if you like the line, but you maybe want to mess around with the sounds, is just duplicating it and dragging in an entire different mud pie, completely unrelated to that, and now you have your entire line written out the exact same way.
Yeah,
you have all the automation, you have all the note things, and instead,
that's like cool. You're just swapping
different
out the sample
sounds.
And the yeah.
That's like, it's such a time saver if you've like put in time to like a melody or an idea, and then you could just like try a different sound, see if that sounds better.
Yeah, that's smart. I am curious, like with all the mud pies you've made, have you found a good system for organizing them in your user library?
The only thing of organization is trying to like keep it to a certain key.
Okay.
Like, they end up being all over the place still, but like if you have like a certain key, then you can at least have a general idea if it's going to be like, going to be like closer.
Yeah, so you organize them by key first.
And a lot of these are named after like the song that we were making at the time or something.
Got it.
So that's about it as far as organization in the mud pie thing.
Okay.
Rather than like date, it's more like the song. If you can denote a key, or maybe like a root note, like once you're messing around, anything goes, but like there might be a common theme to what the whole file is about.
File organization is something I feel like that's always underrated.
And I'm not very good at it.
I'm not.
I was already talking about my desk and my clutter piles. Dude, you don't want to see how many tabs I have open on Google Chrome right now.
That gives me anxiety, honestly.
A lot of people say that, but I'm like, oh yeah, no, I need this.
Yeah.
I know when I'm going to come back to it.
Do you really though?
I mean, every once in a while I'll spend time deleting some things, but like I've had this Final Fantasy VIII tab that's just a bunch of things for walkthroughs that I need. I haven't played it in months, but I'm like, if I don't have that up, I can't go back to it and I will forget where I'm at.
Yeah. You need to get a Notebook LLM. And train it on all of your tabs for you for Final Fantasy, and then you can ask it questions. I use that honestly to organize.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, I've talked about it on the podcast quite a bit. It's like
LLM.
Yeah, it's by Google.
Okay.
This is gonna be your new best friend. But I like upload every podcast episode, like all my talking points, the actual final episode. And it just creates these little notebooks for you on like different topics. You can upload a YouTube video, or you can copy and paste a website URL, or you can upload a PDF. And then it just trains that notebook on whatever you train it on. And you can ask it questions. So I use it for manuals. Like if I want to learn like I uploaded the manual for my Sub 37, my Moog, and then I would just ask it questions, and it would just like pull it up right away for me.
Okay, that's cool. Damn.
Like
Yeah.
it's a good way just to like train it on different topics and of things.
Yeah.
And then you can just access it later whenever and ask questions about whatever.
That's great for a manual, yeah, because that's like it's like the old school laptop help thing where you're like searching for help, but you have to like
Clippy.
but you have to nail the exact words or phrases that they're using in order to find the help.
Dude,
that's smart.
I just used ChatGPT to teach me DaVinci Resolve the other day because like I have a real love-hate relationship with Premiere.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Premiere's the worst.
It sucks.
I mean,
I hate Premiere.
It's so hard to use Premiere when you use something like Ableton that's like so nice. And it's like, it's the same idea. It is funny. Like all those programs, After Effects, Premiere, like any video editing, anything like that, they're all similar in like the keyframe automations and everything, but it's like Premiere is just like the clunkiest.
It's so clunky, dude,
and that's
not snappy.
No,
like the rendering is like slow in real time. Like if you're just trying to access menus, it just doesn't seem intuitive at all.
Yeah,
it's just not smart.
I haven't used it in a while. I've been on just like CapCut,
and DaVinci's free. It's like that's what Hollywood videographers use. You know, I mean, it's like the top of the professional standard, and it's free.
Yeah,
like, or at least the studio version or whatever it's called.
And with CapCut, yeah.
Or I think the studio is the paid version. I don't know, but
I have heard DaVinci is like
it's awesome.
Top.
It's so much more intuitive. It's faster. It's a better built interface and just program.
Yeah,
in every way. So I'm like using that now. I'm still pretty dumb when it comes to like using it, but better than Premiere in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people listening right now who are like, you're stupid. Premiere does this and this or whatever.
I mean, it was cool. And now that you can just like preview effects and stuff on things like CapCut, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is
CapCut honestly
so
is
easier. So much easier.
Making social media videos or like if I'm doing a highlight from a show, like a video highlight.
It's really just like the effects. It's like the way like it is less editable. Like you can only edit certain things and certain effects, but like in order to do those effects in like Premiere is so many steps.
Takes you way longer for sure.
It was cool though.
It's a pretty smart business model the way they built CapCut though, because they started with just making it like a bunch of templates that were just easy to plug and play. You just upload multiple videos and it made a video for you. And then they expanded the library and hired a bunch of creators to create all these like really cool effects. And now it's just like an endless library of effects and like transitions and all this stuff that makes you look like you actually know what you're doing with video.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's owned by the same people as TikTok.
Yeah.
ByteDance, right? Is that right?
CapCut? I don't know.
I think so. I think they own TikTok and CapCut. There was that big scare when like Trump was like, no more TikTok. CapCut was part of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, lost CapCut.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, back to like producing Ableton stuff. I mean, you do a lot of MudPie, you do a lot of sound design stuff. Do you have any methods or like tips for any kind of phasing issues? Like, do you not care?
Phasing issues?
Do you not care about phasing? Like, what are your thoughts?
No, I definitely do. I feel like my main way that I learned about figuring out phasing and stuff like that was like kind of two things. One, Seth Drake has like a masterclass and has this online program. I'm blanking out what it's called, but it used to cost like $1,000 and now it's just subscription model. So it's like $5 a month. Anyways, he had this video on there that I was shown that was about exactly that, kind of like phasing and just like your mono to width about a song. He has this little like Ableton built rack that I forgot. I do have it here, but
it's called the Approach Institute.
Yeah, the Approach. That's what it is. But I have this. I have a ghost zone thing. Oops. So it's like, for some reason, I forget how he explains it or why. It's like you use this utility rack and you like phase it to left and then all the way up on the mid side. But that you put that on your master, and apparently this is the way to get actually like the hard stereo information on your master. So pretty much you'd put it on the main on like an entire song and you'd listen to it with this on.
At the end of the chain.
Yeah, and the idea of this is that what you're hearing is the hard stereo info. And the way that he approached his like mastering and mix downs for people was that you wanted to hear a little bit of everything like in this version, except for like sub bass, obviously.
Right. There's a lot of mono information too that would be missing.
Right. So it goes two ways. It's if you don't hear something, that thing is 100% mono and it's not getting any stereo info. So that would tell you that you need to like spread it a little bit. And then vice versa. If anything was too loud or like really just like over the top, that thing was just like really wide and probably needed to be brought in. So that was like, that's like the theory of this Ghost Zone thing in general. And so how he did it was using like Ozone Imager.
Yeah.
Like the multi-band one. So you'd use like 4 different splits, and then you'd kind of go through each one on each like group or sound. He usually did like more like stem mixing, so it'd be like 8 different stems, then he would apply it to that. When I had learned about it, I didn't exactly know that that's what he was doing, so I was putting it on literally every single track and like making sure that each of them were not super mono, not super stereo.
Sounds very tedious. It's like a lot.
It was, but it was like rewarding because you're like, all right, at least I know for a fact that like these aren't going to be phasing or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, in general, it's probably better to use it a little less meticulously and a little bit more like if you hear a problem, then do it, not just like everything needs it.
Yeah.
But
it's an interesting approach though.
Here, let's actually just see what this. Yeah, it's like missing so much. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna turn it off.
Sloppy.
Yeah, so you can hear some stuff.
Yeah. But I get the concept of it.
Yeah,
like, that makes sense. I mean, I've been a little more lazy in that I usually just listen everything in mono, and at some point, and I'm like,
This is like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to do both.
Yeah.
But this is like, the opposite way of mono. Instead of mono, you're just hearing
the sides.
Super sides.
Yeah, I could see how both would be really valuable. To kind of check both.
To be fair though, I've also like applied this to other people's songs, like Marshmello type stuff.
Yeah.
And like some of like Marshmello things are like nearly full mono. And you're like, the song just like disappears when you turn this on. And you're like, oh, well, but that also has 400 million streams. So who cares?
Yeah, it does get to that point of where like there's like that last like 3% of finishing the master that it's like, is this really making a difference?
Yeah. Honestly, as I've been in it longer, I've stepped away from a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Mostly because I have less and less time as my life goes on and just like working my job and stuff. And I don't know. It's a great thing to use if you're worried about those things and like want to check it, because I feel like I have now gone the cycle and then now am running back into some of those issues where I should be caring more again. Like some label just told us the song was like way too wide.
Really? The label said that?
Yeah, in which
that's funny.
They were right. It took us like the right time and the right spot to listen to it to hear the phasing.
That's surprising that the label was able to catch some of that.
I will say for phasing, listening on your iPhone is a really good way. There was like one song a long time ago, like this Runaway remix that we had, that it was the craziest thing because like what we had done at the time with like the lead synth that was like pretty tonal was like, I think we were doing like left hard pan, right hard pan, same signal, sending it. And like on the iPhone, there was a whole new octave of the note. I was just like, whoa, we didn't put that in there at all.
Yeah.
You don't hear it on headphones. You don't hear it in the car, but on the iPhone, it was like, oh, here's a new note.
Yeah. That's always my last line of defense is I listen to the final on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And if it's like, if it sounds good on that after all the hard work, then I'm like, I feel good about it.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if they're still in mono at this point.
Yeah, so the iPhone, at least the newer models that I know of, has stereo speakers. One speaker is at the bottom of the phone. The other is in the earpiece at the top. And so it has stereo audio.
I'm not. It's good to check mono. Good to check the Ghost Zone. Ozone Imager is great for addressing the mid to stereo thing. I think that's like my favorite thing because you can really pull each band of each sound.
Yeah.
And usually you'd make it kind of like a Christmas tree where it's like the sub stuff is going to be mostly mono, like mid sub, a little bit wide. And then you just like keep going up and like the highs are what you kind of want to be the widest. But that was like, that is how I've approached most of the width things. Sometimes I like to use wider, but that is...
Yeah, by polyverse.
It can be really intense.
It can be.
But honestly, you just need to bypass the lows on that as well. Because I think for the longest time, I was never bypass or like cutting off the lows.
Yeah.
And so you just like do a little bit of width and you're like, okay, this sounds cool, but I'm pretty sure it's messed up.
I've used like Ulean loudness meter or isotope insight just to like check the phase correlation meter. I find a lot of times that's usually kind of a good visual indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, man. As far as like processing your drums, you've got some good punchy drums. Do you have any like go-to tips that maybe people could learn from as far as like getting your drums dialed in?
I would say honestly, I don't think I'm very good at that. Like I try and reference a lot of people, can never get it as clean as some people that I like to look at, like Cursa and stuff.
Okay.
But I feel like some of the techniques that work well is one, I mean, this was more older, but just like using obviously a limiter on like kick and snare group so that things aren't like getting out of hand. I used to use, or I still kind of do like some of the Ahi racks for exactly, I think it was like the Magic Box.
Do you have a finished project maybe you could pull up to show?
Specifically for like what we're talking about?
Yeah, just like the representation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can just put this right on kick and snare right here. This Magic Box though, like doing like the clipping, gain staging is like great. Generally, also what I do is based on that like Ahi Pro routing video on YouTube. Highly recommend that.
Yeah.
It's pretty old, but like still holds true.
Pro L, is that what you're talking about?
That's part of it. It was like that Skrillex Mumbai remix that came out.
Yeah.
He like analyzed that whole video and then he put out the next video that was like routing like a pro.
Yeah.
And ever since that, I haven't done anything else. Like I haven't altered the way the formula. So everything is kind of grouped into buses. And the idea though is that you would have like a Pro L on most of these groups so that you're just barely chopping off like the peaks to like help any issues where sound is just like layering and layering and layering and not actually giving you more volume. It's just like peaking. So doing like that gain staging in groups, which can be done many different ways, is like what is super helpful, especially when you get to like a mastering kind of portion.
Yeah.
So basically, essentially, that's like what it is on the kick and snare. So if you are putting, so we have, like that kick and snare, drag on the Magic Box. Actually, let me also just go back to this. Like, pretty much keeps it like perfectly. You can hear it so well how that snare like came up. Kick feels almost the same. Really like matching the energy.
Sounds super destroyed.
And then that is like negative. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like have a similar template where I've got my groups and then I go to a pre-master. It looks like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Where you have like
they go to the pre-master.
The kick and snare go to like one pre-master chain and the bass goes to the same pre-master chain, and then I have like my leads sounds go to a different pre-master chain with a limiter on each.
Right. That's like pretty much what this is. It was these 3 chains: basic chain, hype chain, chain group.
Yeah.
So it's like think hype was like mostly like sub and drop. Basic is like drums and stuff. And then, and then you were running it into there in order to do some limiting and just like a very small amount just to chop off the tops.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't used the limiter part in like a long time, and I need to get back to that. And that was like some of that tedious mix down stuff that I just kind of stopped doing because I was like, does it even matter? Yeah, now I just reference really hard.
Do you have a favorite limiter and or clipper?
I mean, I guess K-Clip now, K-Clip 3. It was like one of the better ones, but I was using Pro L before.
Okay. I did a shootout with K-Clip. What was it? It was K-Clip. It was Ableton 12 Saturator clipper.
I watched a video exactly on that.
And I did
Newfangled?
standard clip. I didn't do Newfangled.
Yeah, though I actually bought Newfangled because of a video I watched and then like never used it. But it was exactly that. It was a shootout of their like hard clipping and soft clipping and like what was like the most non-distorted, and Newfangled Saturate was like the winner by far.
Yeah, we did standard clip, K clip, IK multimedia clipper, G clip, and Ableton's clipper. The Ableton's was my favorite.
Yeah.
We tested it on one of my tracks and we did like a thorough shootout at Ableton's headquarters.
Damn.
In LA. And I was like, damn, dude, Ableton's the soft clip. That was my favorite clipper, dude. It sounded really good.
Nice. So, yeah. I ever since, what was it, like a year or two ago, one of the Mr. Bill videos of him talking about or showing the natural Ableton clipping while exporting. You know what I'm talking about? So like on...
Oh, just redlining on the master?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do a lot of times.
Yeah.
I don't do it every song, but if it sounds good, I always go for it.
Yeah, 100%. It seems to give the cleanest kick snare results.
It does.
The least smashed.
Yep. I'll usually just use a utility and then boost it out, the output at the end of the chain.
This is literally my chain right here. I got utility at the end, +3.
I talked to Mark about that import on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, him and I, work on a bunch of stuff together. So like, we done a lot of comparisons and stuff. And like, that's the other thing. Like, you could do all the comparisons and like be like, is this better?
Yeah.
But nowadays I'm just like, nope, this works.
Yeah.
Like this is cool. As long as I'm referencing it to something that I see as like an industry standard kind of volume energy thing. Like that's what I just think is everyone's best friend that I don't think people do enough, especially when it comes to like mix down and mastering. Like rather than going and asking your friends, what do you think? Like, what does this sound like? Whatever. Like just put in a song and listen to it. A/B your song to other song that you would like mix it in with.
Right.
Pay attention to the kick, pay attention to the snare, pay attention to the highs, pay attention to all those elements, and A/B just go back and forth.
Yeah.
And you will find what's wrong.
Yeah.
You can find it yourself. You don't need to ask someone because way more often than not, if you ask someone, they're going to give you their advice in that moment. They might be listening on their phone. They might be listening in their car. They might be listening on headphones. You don't even know. And they're probably not referencing it either. Like when friends send me tracks or something, I will generally reference it to something to give them a good idea of like, all right, it sounded good, but I'll also like put it against this track. And like, now I can kind of tell that maybe the kick isn't actually hitting as hard as like that other one, So like that is just everyone's best friend. You don't even need, other people's opinions necessarily, because the amount of times that like listening to people has like muddied up like an idea or something has been just a little, you just start to ask too many people.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you actually asking because you want the feedback, or you just want them to be like, oh, sick track, dude?
Yeah, I mean, like ear fatigue is a real thing too. Like,
100%.
And if you're referencing, I feel like you definitely can help with that comparison to a certain point until you just listen for too long, and then like you're desensitized to whatever sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. Like all of my least favorite mixes I've released and made, I just didn't reference.
Yeah.
And if I do reference pretty heavily and I'm like really comparing, it's always better.
It's always my last step is
Yeah.
exporting it, pulling it into a new file, putting those tracks just on above and below each other, and just like going back and forth.
Yeah.
And like that is the most telltale sign of where your mix is at, or where, if it's not where it should be or where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And using something like a Subpack is super helpful. If
Do you have one?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, I have one too. I use it on the floor. I put my feet on it. It's more comfortable.
Dirt Monkey was the one that showed that to me, and I was just like, no way, that's insane.
It's so much better and more comfortable.
Dude, yeah, and it feels like you're in a club, like standing there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, damn. Like,
yeah.
And that is exactly where you can hear the kick issues and the bass and like sub bass is like through that.
It's too bad you can't order a Subpack. I think
dude,
they're still back ordered.
No, it's tough. Like if you can find one or you know someone that's trying to sell theirs, grab it.
I'm actually really shocked another company hasn't swooped in and taken over the entire market
point.
share.
Yeah, dude, because
it can't be that hard to replicate.
Also, when is that going to become normalized in like silent discos? You know?
Yeah. I actually tried to do
that will be the coolest silent disco you've ever been to if everyone can have a Subpack.
So in 2020, it was like April of 2020, we planned on doing a Subpack silent disco. I was talking to Subpack actually about sponsoring it because they sponsored the podcast at that time.
Yeah.
And me and my friend, shout out to Ross, he did lasers for Burning Man. He was going to do all the production and like it was going to be really sick. And then COVID hit and then we just got all fucked up. We never got to do it.
Do you have any insight into why Subpack stopped making them?
I think it's supply chain issues and probably management issues.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just asking because it's like not that it's like it's a great product that most people should have and that every bedroom producer needs. Like
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, why hasn't somebody else swooped in and just taken over?
That is interesting.
Really surprised.
It's not going to be me, but
if I had time, maybe I would go for it.
I wouldn't because that's not what I like to do.
No, I don't want to answer emails and run a company right now.
But hey, if anyone out there is listening and you're into manufacturing gear, that is something that people will still continue to need a ton of. Not having a Subpack as a producer is kind of crazy. Like it is so helpful and so amazing for, unless you have $100,000 studio in which you can seclude yourself to and that you don't have to worry about noise. You need one because it will help your family. It'll help your friends. It'll help your neighbors. Like
your neighbors will love you.
Yeah, dude. Especially in an apartment, bro. Like,
dude, that's so true though. I mean, it is a pretty cool experience to wear headphones and feel bass.
Yeah.
That is a really like a natural thing that just is actually pretty cool sonically throughout your body through bone conductivity. So much cheaper than just trying to dial in the acoustics of your apartment or like, if I
100%.
Now, if I had like my permanent home that I was going to live in forever and I had like a basement with tall ceilings and it was big enough in a rectangle that I could really acoustically build out forever, I'm going to do that.
90% of people making the music we make don't have that.
No, most people don't have that. Yeah.
But you should have a $250 Subpack.
You should be getting paid right now just to say this.
Just please come back and make more because I want to buy another one.
Dude, it's been like 5 years now.
That's like the thing. We have one for the studio. I need one for my home and I can't get one.
In 5 years, I think, since they starting to reship all their new ones.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because I had Subpack's sales director on the podcast back in the day.
And he
was a really nice guy. And I don't think he's to blame at all for a lot of what happened.
I don't know anything about any of that. I just want them back. I literally just don't know. And I was just curious, like what, because it's not like it was a bad product.
No.
It's a great product.
Great product.
Honestly though, Skull Candy. They should take it over because they've always had they've always done small subs in small spaces and generally like vibration based.
100%.
I had like snowboarding headphones that like had a subwoofer, but it's funny because the knob was like vibration. It was just like
interesting.
it was just like the amount that it vibrated was the sub, which I mean in essence is like what the sound is.
Right.
But it was like that's kind of how it was operating to act as sub, was just vibrating to a certain extent.
It would be nice if you could even dial in the frequency crossover. Like if you could go, go up to like say 400 hertz instead of like 200 or whatever.
I don't even know what it is. That's a good point.
I think it is like close to 200.
Okay, that's pretty good though.
It's still not bad.
Because I mean that is what you want though. You want the sub bass.
Yeah.
Your speakers can do the rest.
That's true. Talked about. Oh, I saw you had GM Audio Ducker in there for sidechaining.
Yeah.
I
like that a lot.
It's my favorite, dude.
Yeah, I was very stuck in my ways for a long time up until I was showed GM Audio Ducker.
Did Rob show you that? He's the one that showed me that.
It might have been my buddy Kevin, this trap dude, Savior. I don't exactly remember, but I feel like he was the one that was constantly on top of it, like showing me the next new thing that he was using, and I was just like, nah. I just like my Live Compressor 8 and my click track.
Yeah.
Like, I do click track always.
But you still use a ghost trigger for GM Audio Ducker.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely, bro.
Because I just send my kick to it.
But that's crazy because then you don't actually have control. It is only being ducked to the entire kick, you know? So long as that sample is playing.
But you can adjust the release time and the hold, though, even to shorten it if you wanted to.
But the release doesn't start until the sound's over.
But the hold does. So if you had a lesser hold and a slower release, it's going to come after the hold, not the actual full sustain of the kick.
So if
that's why I liked it.
Let's see.
I have 1.5.
There's a good way to prove this or to just figure it out. Let's just like...
The issue is, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically you have the sustain of your kick drum, and you don't necessarily want the entire finishing sustain to play out before the release of the sidechain, because you want to dial in the relationship between a kick and a bass pretty tightly. And if you have a longer sustained kick or whatever, you don't want the bass just to wait too long to come back in. That's basically where we're at.
So when I have this super long kick, like I'm going extreme. Let's make it very long. And I change it to complex so that ideally it's kind of playing throughout. As far as I think I know, you're more constrained. That's why I always still use the click track, because you just have a click, you have the tiniest like fraction of a noise, and then you set the hold and release to exactly what you want. So I'll usually like go and like look at my kick and kind of like highlight the chunk like that, and then be like, all right, that's...
You look at the 60, time selection at the bottom.
Yeah. So I'll look at the time selection. I'll be like, all right, this is like 94. Like the biggest chunk of the kick is like 94
milliseconds. And
so I'll go up to the thing and like split that. So I'll be like 50-50. Like 50 on release, 50 on hold.
Okay.
So that like as it's kind of tapering off, it's doing the release, but the main chunk is being held down.
Right.
That is how I approach it. Again, I don't think that I have like the best kicks and snares out there, and other people definitely do it better. But that is how I have found can be the most powerful for me.
Okay.
And then like I'll just copy paste them onto like the other groups, like top drums, and then pull like the amount down and do like way less amount so that it's not like ducking it fully.
All right. I want to try this experiment also for myself just to see. Right now I have a shorter release time. So if I reduce the hold and the release.
Oh yeah, put those all the way down.
See how fast that's releasing.
That is interesting. Wait, pull them to 0. Like pull the hold and release all the way down.
See how quick that is? It's actually doing what I was hoping it would do.
No, you're right.
Because it's and you were right in the sense that Live 8 compressor is not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because
it really is just reacting to the transient.
Yeah, it is reacting only to the transient and not to everything else. So now if I want to pull it back, I have that hold and release control.
Okay, sick. Good to know. I will change my ways.
So that's why I don't use the sidechain triggers anymore, which I thought was like a really nice.
Oh, that's cool. Transition. Yeah, because I hate having to do that
Yeah, for sure.
Just extra steps.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah, I just map it to the kick.
So real quick, one more point on that initial question of like the mixing of the kicks and snares.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The other most powerful thing I find to use that seems to be important when you're trying to really get like that kick thump is like Pro Q 3 or 4 doing like the like EQ ducking. So do you know what I'm talking about?
So I don't have 4. I'm still on 3.
3, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Okay. So if you pull in Pro Q whatever, it's going to be the same thing. But basically, you can sidechain this to the sound, like
just that band, that one single band.
Yeah, the one single band. So if you open up or this like left side of the plugin window, you can sidechain to the kick or whatever you want. And so this is going to react based off of the actual kick coming through. And so you can like make it dynamic, pull it down, and then I think I always honestly get a little bit confused, but it's like these couple buttons, this will like open up the sidechain window for it.
Yeah, sidechaining the band.
But when you have it set correctly, which
sidechain would be on, which you have, right?
and then there's like this button. I think it might be that.
Yeah, I think.
Essentially though, when you have it dialed in correctly and you have this on and you have it sidechain to whatever you want, like the kick. Oh, I think it would be this one. Basically, it is sidechaining to the kick just like the GM audio ducker, but instead of ducking like full utility audio, it's just that band and it's pushing it down.
Right, yeah.
So specifically, I'll use like the kick to the drop group or the bass group, whatever, do it exactly where that fundamental is coming in so that it is just extra ducking that sub part so that you get the thump and it's not like muddy. Because otherwise...
In addition to like sidechaining the whole bass?
Yeah, in addition to 100%.
Really?
Yeah, because like...
But isn't it already fully like zeroing out the signal of the bass when the kick hits anyway?
You would think so, but I just don't think that that's like fully how it works. Like it is, but like also you can change this attack and release to be different, you know? So like say you have the full ducking only for like 50 to 100 milliseconds. You could have this for like longer so that it's like, you know, the full length of the kick sample. Yeah. Because I don't like to do like the full kick sample, just like more so the transient.
Okay.
It's just like I know that it sounds cleaner when I do this. I think hypothetically, the sidechain should take care of it, but I don't think it always is like that.
It could also depend on the sustain too. If like the low end of the kick sustain is still playing on top of some of the bass, if you're only cutting out the initial transient, then maybe that would help as the bass comes back in and there's still the sustain of the bass of the kick drum that's fading back into.
Yeah.
Maybe. We've been going at this for a while. I think Charlie's going to kick us out soon, probably.
All right, let's hammer through the next question.
Yeah, we got a couple quick questions. We'll wrap it up. This is fun, though. I could honestly just sit here and nerd out for hours, dude. This is a good time. And okay, so I've been asking more people this question because I'm curious. What features do you wish Ableton had that it doesn't? Is there anything that comes to mind?
That's honestly tough. I don't, especially with like 12.2, they're really doing everything for the most part. I feel like there's just like a couple maybe like native effects that I wish they had, things like tape stop or like, you know, some like cool plug-in things that generally you have to get from like kilohertz or whatever. Yeah. That they just had native. I just wish it was like more native effects that are things like that, like a vinyl tape stop, super cool, and just like really simple and easy. But I don't know, man. I use Ableton because I think it's the best, and like the only other thing that I feel like people really end up liking are native plugins to other DAWs. So there's like things in like Reason, like I think Emport has like a Reason plugin now in order to use some of their like native synths. and stuff.
Yeah.
So like some of those could be better. Maybe like some more presets on their synthesizers and things. I don't need that though. But
yeah, I agree. I feel like with the update from 11 to 12.
Yeah,
especially
like I
with
would have said
12.2,
chords and stuff like that, but now they have the chord expression.
Yeah,
now
that's
they
so
have this.
cool. There's expressive chords is dope.
Yeah.
I think it was Toby Hunka. I saw something. I haven't played with it. AbletonDrummer.com. He released something that can actually also key match the expressive chords.
Crazy.
Which is sick because, and that was the one thing I was like, yeah, this is cool. You get like random chord generations and inversions and stuff, but it's like, would it have been that hard just to be able to lock it into scale awareness?
Right.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, and like now they have auto shift and like now they have
auto shift is so cool.
It's like all the things that I would have said a year ago or 2 years ago have all been addressed for the most part.
And the workflow improvements, I think, are sometimes the biggest things. Like, even though a lot of times they're like small little improvements, like they really add up to a lot of stuff. Like the bounce track in place, and bounce in place to new track or whatever it's called, where like instead of having to resample and create a new track, it just does it automatically, and then it mutes the existing clip, which is nice.
It's a tough question just because it's like so good.
That's a good thing. I mean, that's great. I've got like probably like 25 things in the list that I wish Ableton had in here. But maybe that's for another day.
What are your top 3?
Damn, dude, there's a lot. I'd have to kind of read through these. I mean, there's like little things.
Send us ChatGPT.
Yeah, I really should. There's a lot of things. The like saving the sample rate per project would be really nice because I do video stuff in Ableton, and I usually go 48,000 for my sample rate instead of 44.1. And so it'd be nice if it remembered for that project when I save it to go back to that sample rate, because I sometimes forget and I export and I'm like, oh shit, I have to go back.
That is cool. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Yeah,
that like a little thing like that would be super nice. ARA plugin support would be really cool.
I don't know what that is.
So yeah, it's like for example, Melodyne.
Okay.
You can like real time render. Stands for Audio Random Access. It's a extension protocol such as like Melodyne or Presonus. It just basically processes the audio in real time as the plugin is listening to what's playing in the DAW. So like non-linear editing. So for example, if you want to do editing in Melodyne for like pitch on vocals and stuff, you can do it inside the plugin, and then it's just like real-time rendering. And it just like instantly loads audio data without needing to record or play it first. There's a lot of stuff like you can do within a plugin without having to go back and forth and exporting it into the DAW, basically. Okay. So it would give you more flexibility with like integrating the DAW into the plugin and being able to do more stuff.
Yeah, 0 latency always. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be really sick. Like Live's native macros, like the macros don't support stepped or snap values out of the box. It'd be really nice. You can do it with Max for Live, but you can't just like have it step, like I want 0 to 5 or 5 to 22 values or whatever. It'd be kind of cool. Like if you could stop switching a track view and selecting solo or arm, it's like nice for mixing. So if you like hit solo or arm or whatever, and you're working in like a device view on a different track, it automatically just like jumps to that track or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could select your warp mode preferences whenever you freeze or flatten audio.
Better warp modes would also be nice. I think not necessarily the modes, but it seems like there could be some better technology behind like the warping and just like the being able to read it better.
Yeah.
It seems crazy when you're trying to warp an electronic dance track or hip hop track that has been made in one of these programs, and there's a kick and snare that's pretty obvious, and like you try and stretch it or whatever, and it still like isn't getting it to grid. That's wild. But they do it honestly way better than Alpha Theta.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of features and things.
It kills me that Rekordbox does not snap the grid to the beginning of the song by default.
Really? I thought it did.
Dude, no. Like so many tracks that I bring in, like it like tries to read it and analyze it, and then it puts it where it thinks, and it's just like off like slightly, and it's like,
that's
dude,
true. That has happened.
99% of people are exporting their track exactly on the grid of their song.
Yeah.
Why would it not be starting there unless it maybe found something better or saw a gap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
They're
I've had
holding
issues
out.
with
They're
that.
holding out on their technology and just like doing the whole planned obsolescence thing.
I will say Rekordbox does a much better job of their whatever it's called, like warping, time stretching algorithm. Like if you speed up a song in Rekordbox and you play it on a CDJ versus speeding up in Ableton, it sounds better.
It does sound pretty good on
slowing down
on the CDJs. 100%. It sounds great.
Better than it does if you
really rough on Tractor.
Oh really? I've never used Tractor.
I was a huge Tractor stan forever, which I still kind of am for certain things, but I was 100% playing out songs for years with it like key pitched or key mapped or whatever, and did not realize how much it was destroying like the bass of songs for years until I finally like heard our song played on it, and then I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And then you learn to like turn off like the master tempo thing.
I've never really used Tractor. I feel like you could teach me a lot about DJing. Because, like, I've been a junkie inside of performing in live most of my life.
I mean, that's cool as hell. Most people do the DJing thing, not the live performing.
I feel like I went backwards with all of that, pretty much.
That's cool, though. I respect that.
Thanks, man. I respect people who can DJ really well, too, because that's its own art form. Anyway, I think we got to wrap this up. It's been going strong for a while. Like I said, I probably could just sit here and go for another couple hours, but I think Charlie's going to kick us out. Shout out to Big Up Studios. Thanks for hosting the podcast here. Quick last minute things, upcoming projects, anything you want to promote or shout out?
Just got some songs coming out at Big Nut Chuck Beats on Instagram and I guess TikTok, which I'm literally...
You're on the TikTok?
Bro, I'm like just learning. Like I have pretty much almost never used it for the most part, which is not showing my age at all. But
you're not missing too much, dude. We're probably about the same age.
I already missed the whole era of like things being able to blow up out of nowhere with 0 followers. So the algorithm has changed.
It has, though. It's way harder to get noticed on TikTok than it used to be a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I found that, or that's just what I've heard and I've seen.
Yeah. Other than that, just keep on the socials. We'll have a lot of music coming out.
Nice.
We'll eventually put out some back catalog stuff for Kyral Banko, which I just need to like get some more stuff under my belt before I feel good about putting more time back into that. But there's a lot, and I would feel really sad to not put it out before I died.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to give the people what they want, you know?
I just want to release it into the world.
There's a lot of stuff people sit on that is really gold that they don't realize.
Yeah. That is like the story of my life, I feel like.
Me too.
Yeah. I have seen the consequences of not putting stuff out for too long. It's funny how like the whole like shadow sample sound, like I have been making for years, way before it got super popular, but I haven't put any of it out until like a couple months ago. So I'm just like, God damn it.
Well, I like the stuff you put out. It's fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for joining. Best place for people to connect with you. You mentioned TikTok, Instagram, anywhere else?
Probably Instagram.
Cool.
Instagram overall, yeah.
And I'll include a link in the show notes, everybody, as always, to Big Nut Chuck, a.k.a. Colin, a.k.a. Kyral.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Absolutely, man.
Cool. Stay tuned, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye. Peace. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you don't hate me or the podcast, please leave a 5-star review, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're listening, and it would really help me out. If you want to be the first to get new episodes, updates on events, some free downloads and stuff, go to abletonpodcast.com and make sure you enter your email, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll do my best to send you cool stuff. Check back on Tuesdays for brand new episodes. Make sure you go follow this guest for spending their time and energy hanging out. If you have any ideas or strong opinions about the podcast, please let me know. Just shoot me a message. Go to abletonpodcast.com, scroll to the bottom, send me a little message, and I'm happy to make this the best I can for you guys. Much love for listening, and I will see you next time.